Get ready to take your ATCs to the next level with these ultimate mixed media tips. Hey crafty friends! Today I'm super excited to show you a fun and creative tutorial on making artist trading cards, also known as ATCs. Check out these gorgeous ATCs I made using watercolor pencils, ink, stamps, heat embossing, and some embellishments. Let's get ready and dive into this. Now, artist trading cards are really cool. They're just miniature works of art. The only thing that's really set in stone with these are the size. They need to be about 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And you can paint, draw, do anything you want with them. Mixed media of any kind. I do collage on a lot of mine. But since they're so tiny, sometimes it's hard to work on such a small canvas. So a lot of times it's easier to start on something larger. This piece that I am coloring on right now is about 7 inches by 6 inches. And I'll be able to cut 4 ATCs out of this. So I picked out some colors that I like and just kind of randomly drawing different shapes and squiggles and wiggles on this with these watercolor pencils. And I'm just kind of going all over the place, spreading the colors around. And some I'm pressing a little darker, some just kind of going a little shading on these. Because when I put the water on this to activate it, it's going to react differently whether you have a lot of color there or just a little bit of shading. And so you'll just see how this little scribblings kind of turn into watercolor magic here in just a moment. I did speed this up so you wouldn't have to watch me a long time just coloring all this in, but it's really relaxing. I really enjoy just getting this piece of paper and just drawing all over it. And it wasn't so intimidating when you have a smaller canvas like this to work with. So here I am with my watercolor brush, just activating the color on here, just kind of spread it around. It's best to start with the lighter colors first. So I'm starting with that yellow and just kind of dabbing that water around, activating that color. And the longer that water sits on here, the more vibrant these colors are going to get. So you're not going to see too much change later, but as this video goes on, you're going to notice some changes in these colors, and they're just going to get really nice and vibrant. So here I am kind of working my way to the shading. It's nice and light there and a little darker in spots. And after you activate this, you can let it dry and put more color on it if you want it a little darker or a little shading in somewhere else. So that's one cool thing about these watercolor pencils is, you know, you can reactivate it again. You can draw right over top of it, add some more color. And I'm really enjoying kind of bringing back a little childhood, a little nostalgic-ness of getting those colors out and doing just the little scribblings and paintings and stuff. Really letting that inner child out. And I found this real relaxing, very therapeutic. And I mean, this just looks like a big mess right now. It just squiggling all this paint around. But it's going to turn into a really, really cool background picture here. So I'm going over that darker blues now. So if I get too much water on there, you just get a little towel and just kind of dab it up a little bit. And then, you know, when the blue mixes with the yellow, you do get a little green there too. So I kind of planned that on purpose to have a little bit of green in there. Even though I use some green, I like kind of transforming these colors into other shades also. So still going from light colors to dark colors, working on those purples now. Alright, I think this is my last set of dark colors is this maroon color on here. Now you can get very technical and specific and do some detailed drawing with these colors, but I just kind of wanted to go abstract with my background here, and so I just kind of do all kinds of stuff. Now this here is gold ink, and I'm just going to splatter this all over the top just to give a little bit more dimension and shine, because I like stuff that's sparkly and shiny, and sprinkling that all over. And this dries pretty quick too. And whatever's left on this brush, I'm just going to come to brush it around on this canvas also. And it's hard to tell in the camera here, but this has a lot of sparkle and shine, but I did not have enough sparkle on this, so I decided to spray a little bit of my shimmer mist with this. But I'm going to dry this first so that shimmer mist doesn't spread around too much. This is homemade shimmer mist I'm going to be spraying on here in just a moment. And it's a formulation of rubbing alcohol, mica powder, and blue alcohol ink. The mica powder that I have in here is gold, and so it does have a little golden shimmer to it. So now I'm just trimming down my ATC here, and each of these cards are going to be 3.5 by 2.5 inches, and that's a very important size. And like I said, it's going to be a total of 4 cards. And with these abstract colors like this or paintings, you can do a lot with them. So look at that, and the colors are getting more and more vibrant like I said they would. Now you don't have to do this, but I do like to use a corner rounder on my cards, and I think it just gives that little extra oomph that these cards look a little bit more professional. And so I just really like that element. Look how vibrant those colors are, just gorgeous. You kind of see a little bit of that shimmer there between the gold ink and that shimmer spray. Alright, so what I'm going to do next here is spread my cards out, and I'm going to stamp these all at the same time. So I'm going to put all 4 of these cards on here, and I kind of went through my stamps, and I found some really gorgeous butterfly stamps. And I'm going to put a different butterfly stamp on each of these cards. And that way they're all a little bit different, but have the same theme. And this gadget that I'm using is called a stamping assist tool. And this is just a generic stamping assist, and you're put your stamps down, and when you put that lid down over it, your stamps stick to it, so you can stamp it multiple times and it goes down in the same place. So you don't have that that double exposure image at all. So very, very handy. And that sticky mat that it's on, I actually picked up from the Dollar Tree, and it's really handy keeping my canvases into place where I need them. Alright, just putting those stamps on here, and just kind of center them where I want them. There it goes. Now I'm going to push down, it's going to stick to that lid, and when I raise it up, I can ink these stamps. And now what I'm doing here, I'm rubbing an anti-static pad across there, because when I do the heat embossing, I don't want a lot of that embossing powder to go all over the place. I just want the image to emboss. So this is just black permanent ink, and I went a little bit deeper. Didn't quite get all the areas that I wanted, so I'm just going to stamp it several times here till I get a nice, clear, crisp image. So far we have here is our watercolor image. And now we have the ink. And next what I'm going to be doing is, after I clean these stamps off, I'm going to get some embossing ink, and it's just clear. And I'm going to stamp these stamps with this clear embossing ink, and then I'm going to be dipping it into clear embossing powder. And this is going to pick up the color of that ink underneath. So it's a good way, I mean, you can make these images any color you want, and when you use the clear embossing powder, it looks like you got the exact color to match. Alright, so I did stamp that embossing ink several times to get a nice layer of embossing stickiness on there. And so I'm just going to go ahead and gently take off those cards, not to touch any of that embossing that's on there. Now this is my clear embossing powder there, and I'm just going to dip each card in and coat that image really well. And I use this clear embossing powder a lot, so I keep it in a little bin here so I can have it handy just to dip my images in it as I need it without having to go through a mess of getting everything out. Alright, once all 4 of them are nicely covered, I'm going to put this away so I don't spray that powder all over the place. And I'm going to heat up my heating tool here for about a minute or so, warm up the back. And then once it starts heating up, all that turns into this really glossy finish. It's just magic before your eyes. So we're watching this image just pop up and come alive right in front of us here. It's just so magical to watch this. I could just do this all day long. It's so much fun to see these images just pop right up off the cards. And it goes pretty quick too. And you just see how deep and vibrant this black is. And it just stands up off the watercolor very, very nicely. All right, so all done with those. It's coming along really nice. Look at that nice image. See, it's already dry. I can touch it with my finger. Now I found 4 sentiments that I liked, and they're kind of this pinky, purpley color. And I am putting that on white cardstock. And then I'm going to also frame that on some of that pink shiny foil cardstock there in the background. You know, kind of cut these each down to size. I like to have sentiments on my ATCs. It's not necessary, but I always like to have a little inspirational quote of some sort. Or a funny saying. And I think it just adds a lot to whatever you're working on. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these to this foil cardstock. And nothing likes to stick to foil very much. So I'm going to put a lot of glue on these and press it down and get that to sticking. Now, you know, if you're getting glue off to the sides, a little towel like this can just kind of rub right off that foil since it's not going to soak in real quick. And I'm just going to line all 4 of those up. And after they dry a little bit, I am going to cut each one of those out individually with a little border, a little frame around each one. All right, taking care to get all those glue smears off. All right, so I cut all those out. Now this watercolor cardstock is a little bit on the thin side, so I'm going to mount this onto a piece of cardboard. And on the back side of these, I did stamp out ATC, a place to put your name and the date and what you're calling your collection. And I'm going to put this right on the back of each of these cards, and it's going to give it a little bit more stability. So the designs won't show through on the back side. So putting quite a bit of glue on here because I don't want these to come off. And you notice there my card's a little short. I guess I didn't measure too well. It's close enough, so I'll just trim this up a little bit after the glue dries a bit. Now a lot of people do use playing cards for this, and now it's important to sand your playing cards a little bit if they're glossy because glue doesn't like to stick to them very well. But I like using this leftover cardboard. It's a recycle that I pick up from work, and they're just going to throw it out, and it's like, this is perfect white cardboard, and I just bring it home for all different kinds of different crafty projects I'm doing. All right, so I'm pressing those down good so they stick well to my cardboard backing. These are coming along pretty nice. I'm showing you the top there where I'm going to trim off. And here's those sayings. I'm going to put one on the top of each one of these. And I'm just kind of like, you know, staging it to see what I like, along with the embellishments coming up. So just go ahead and glue those down. And remember, there's no rules to mixed media art. You can let your imagination go wild and see where it takes you with different crafting and art medias that you have. And you can go pretty wild. So I kind of get a little carried away sometimes and put too many elements on my cards. And so I try to restrain myself today so I don't get too carried away with a bunch of stuff. But I do have to add a little bling. So here's the rhinestones that I picked out. So I'm just kind of staging them to see where I like them, and place them around in different areas of the card. And I end up moving them around a couple of times to see exactly what I like. And then after I placed them, I decided, you know, it just needs something else. It's just lacking a little bit of contrast or interest. And so I went and got some ribbon. So I got some of the sheer ribbon and some of this black ribbon. And I'm just going to put a couple of strips on these cards. A couple of them I'm just going to put one strip, and then some of them I'm going to put 2 strips. And on that sheer ribbon, it will show through if I'm not careful. So I'm just going to kind of put it at the edges of that ribbon. And this definitely gives it a little shimmer and shine. And kind of anchors the bottom of your card nicely. And I put little dots of glue there. And I'm just going to put my rhinestones right on top of that glue. This glue dries pretty quick. I've been using the Barely Art Precision Craft Glue, and I really like it. Works really well with paper arts, and it dries quickly. Oh, there's my kitty cat there. Hear him in the background. And I just fed him. Took him outside for a little fresh air, and he is wanting some attention now. You hear that? He said now. Alright, I can finish these rhinestones up. And then I'll go over to the black ribbon. Get those down out of the way. I really like this black ribbon. It gave it a little bit of contrast I wasn't expecting. It really makes the watercolor image in the background really kind of pop out. And I wasn't expecting that, and definitely really like this. Yeah, after that glue dries a little bit, I will trim the ribbon off the ends so it's not hanging over. And a lot of people trade these online, and so I tried not to get too much piled up on here, because if this goes in the mail, if it's over a 1/4 inch in depth, you are required to do a little extra postage on it. So these rhinestones aren't too big. They will stick up a little bit. But if I make an ATC that has a lot more depth in it, I do add a little bit more postage when I mail them out. Alright, and just trimming off those ends. It's looking so cute. Just love how these are turning out. And just a lot of textural elements here that when you touch it, you know, you're feeling that smooth watercolor paint, and then the raised texture of the heat embossing, then the ribbon and the rhinestones. A lot of interesting details here. This turned out so cute. Look at these. And so easy to do. So I hope you feel inspired and try some of these techniques and create your own mixed media ATCs. Don't forget to share your creations on social media and look for the Facebook groups that do these tradings. And I can't wait to see what you come up with. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Happy crafting.